Thank you, Madam Chairman. I want to thank you for holding this hearing today. You've been a champion for these families and the families of so many others who have been wrongfully held or imprisoned by rogue regimes. You've been a steadfast partner in advocating for the release of my constituent, Bob Levinson, and I am most grateful for your unwavering support. To Doug, Babak, and Omar, thank you for being here today to share the stories of your fathers and brother. None of us can imagine what your families go through every single day. Your testimony today will give this Congress and the American people a small window into the unimaginable reality that you face each day. Just last week, we learned that Iran has taken another American citizen, convicted him in some undisclosed sham trial, and sentenced him to 10 years in prison. Hostage-taking is not a game that responsible nations play. Iran's outrageous disregard for international law should give every country, every company, especially every American company, pause as to whether this is a country they should welcome back into the community of nations. Siamak Namazi has been detained since November 2015. His father, Bakr, has been detained since February 2016. Bakr was detained at 80 years old, a mere 6 weeks after the deal that saw 5 Americans previously being held by Iran released in January of last year. His health, unfortunately, is poor. Neither were afforded due process, and this family has still not been made aware of the exact charges against them. This is not rule of law. This is hostage-taking. Nizar Zaka is an internet freedom activist. He was invited to Iran to participate in a conference and was subsequently detained. Can you imagine? Invited to a country and then arrested with no cause. Iran first acknowledged holding Nizar on November 3rd, 2015. Like Siamak and the recently sentenced Xiao Wang, Nizar has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. Bob Levinson has been missing for 10 years. Bob went missing from Kish Island, Iran, March 9th, 2007. Bob and his wife, Christine, live in my district in Coral Springs, Florida. Bob is a patriot in every sense of the word. He devoted 28 years of his life to government service, first at the DEA and then 22 years at the FBI. I've come to know the Levinson family well over the past 7 years. Bob's wife of over 40 years, Christine, is here today, as well as Bob's eldest son, Dan. Not here today are Bob's 5 other children, Susan, Stephanie, Sarah, Samantha, and David. Sarah recently gave birth to Bob's newest grandchild. He was born on July 4th, a date that certainly makes Bob proud. Last year, Bob's namesake, 3-year-old Bobby, underwent treatment for cancer. And just a few months ago, Bob's son, David, had his first child, and the baptism is next week. Bob has missed all of these milestones. Imagine 10 years without your husband, your father, your grandfather. We will hear what that has been like from Doug, who was only 13 at the time Bob disappeared. No family should have to endure 10 years of unanswered questions, 10 years of watching others come home, and 10 years of being left behind. I've sat in this room countless times over the years and talked about Bob. I've talked about him on the House floor. And I won't stop talking about Bob. I won't stop calling on Iran to once and for all send Bob home. Iran may claim they don't know where Bob is, but they know how to find him and they know how to get him home. We need action. Bob can no longer be left behind, and today I'd like you to hear directly from Bob. In 2010, the Levinsons received the video you're about to see. In it, you'll see Bob under duress pleading for his country to help him. If we could play it.
My loving, my loyal wife, Christine, and my children, and my grandson, and also for the United States government. I have been held here for 3.5 years. I am not in very good health. I am running very quickly out of diabetes medicine. I have been treated well, but I need the help of the United States government to answer the requests of the group that has held me for 3.5 years. And please help me get home. 33 years of service to the United States deserves something. Please help me.
Bob, I will continue to do everything I can to bring you home alive. All I want is for our family to be whole again. We love you. We miss you every day. We will not abandon you.
My name.
It's hard to watch, but it is important that the world see Bob, that they see more than a name in a newspaper article, that they see the husband, father, the grandfather, the American public servant. I implore this administration to make bringing Bob home a priority. And despite our policy disagreements with Iran, bringing home Bob, Siamak, Bakr, and Nizar, and the other Americans detained in Iran must always be at the top of the agenda. Doug, Babak, Omar, I can only hope that by providing each of you a chance to tell your family's story today, we can send a message that the release of these Americans is a priority for this Congress, it's a priority for the American people, and we will not stop until they are home. And I yield back.